Hi guys, welcome to another episode of CP for SA, and today we are talking income diversification, aka side hustles. And joining me today is Donald Maroccane, who to me is the true definition of a hustler, or perhaps more respectfully, someone with a good entrepreneur mindset. Hi Don.
How's it going, Tavan? Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure, man. Thanks for taking the time to come through here.
Yeah, always a pleasure, man.
Awesome. But to, I guess, before jumping straight into it, do you maybe want to touch a bit on who Donald Maroccane is?
Yeah, definitely. I think short and simple is I'm a mechanical engineering graduate from University of Pretoria, which is ironically where we met.
Yeah.
I currently work at PwC Waterfall as an IT risk assurance associate.
Yeah. I guess between where you're working and what you studied, the relationship is quite interesting. Why are you not more in chemical engineering?
Well, I'd say, as I was going through the motions in tertiary, I've always been very interested and enticed with the whole corporate side of things, the business side of doing things. So I think more of my entrepreneurial mindset, came out while I was studying mechanical engineering. So it made more sense for me at that stage in my life to rather pursue what I know would make me happier as opposed to what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah. And why do you think that entrepreneurial mindset is important for South Africans, young South Africans more especially?
I think it's very vital because for me, and I think for most people who are successful, it isn't just about, oh, this is a side hustle or just a quick buck. For some of us, it's a precursor to the end goal. So for me, I keep very, very key words and phrases to me every day with all the challenges that I face. And the first one is desire. Will the burning desire inside of you carry you through all the challenges that you face?
Yeah.
The second one, which I live by every day, it's persistence. For me, nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent won't. The world is full of talented individuals that are unsuccessful.
Yeah.
Genius won't.
Yeah.
Unwarranted genius is a cliche, practically. And education won't, because the world is full of educated fools.
Yeah.
And then the last one for me is patience, because a lot of people nowadays think that it's just a quick overnight thing where you put something out and immediately you're supposed to get something profitable or tangible.
Yeah, educated fools.
Definitely.
Still touched a bit by that.
Definitely.
But yeah, so I think I've seen you dabble in quite a few things. Do you maybe want to touch on some of the ventures that you've taken part in?
Yeah. For me, it isn't a fairy tale story. The first one that comes to mind was a little game that me and two colleagues from high school came up with. It was back in 2013. So the idea behind that was creating a game that, describes what we are struggling with in that time, 2013, which was the e-tolls and the potholes. So it was just a fun game that we did whereby you pass through an e-toll, you pay some money, you go through a pothole, your car gets damaged, and it's all point related. So it was just all fun and games, but from there I learned a lot about work ethic, because we're doing something we weren't meant to, and we had to put in a lot of work. And then what I would say is from there, the next, big thing I did was in 2017, I did a Mood for Fitness bootcamp. So that was basically a dance and fitness bootcamp targeted to, at the time, high school individuals. So that was pretty big for me.
Yeah.
And then from there, I did a watch venture with my cousin in 2018, basically importing watches, quality watches from overseas and just selling them to watch enthusiasts. And then more recently, a year ago, I got into a venture with a good friend of mine that I was in partnership with through the Mood for Fitness Bootcamp, who is a good friend and a mentor to me. And he invited me to do this sanitizer thing. So basically we distill sanitizers from scratch, and we put some ingredients that go into it and we sell them. So the idea there was to help curb the spread. And obviously most people wouldn't think of monetizing something like that through such tough times. But I always say that through tough times there's always some form of opportunity. So we saw that opportunity and we jumped into that. And then most recently, I'd say about 2-3 months ago, I started stock market trading. So I'm sure most people would have heard of Easy Equities. So it's just an app platform where you are able to buy shares of companies, and it interested me quite a lot because now I've moved from active multiple income streams, which needed my presence, to passive multiple income streams. So at least with this venture, I don't have to actively be there to make the money. As I'm sitting with you now, it's growing. When I'm sleeping, it's growing. So I'm just trying to grow as I go.
Yeah, I mean, a few things come to mind. One, I remember the day when I broke the watch that I brought from you, because I was running and I hit my hand against the wall. My heart just fell to the ground because I really like that watch. But yeah, I think with the sanitizer one, it's quite good because it shows how you've still been able to tap into, you know, some of the knowledge you had, and used it to, you know, monetize something and get something out. And maybe that can lead me into this next question. As an individual, when we think of what we should do, you know, in terms of a side hustle, what are some of the things we need to consider about ourselves, you know, before choosing what side hustle to get into?
To be honest, that's very subjective. Based on my personal experience, I think these things sort of choose you, depending on your character and how far you've progressed in life. I say that because never in a million years did I think I would be, you know, distilling sanitizers or making alcohol from scratch, because that's more of a chemical engineering thing to do. But I had to teach myself to do that along with my peers in a space of a few weeks or a few months. So for me, I think the chronological order in which I was able to get into all these multiple entrepreneurial ventures built me into a person that can handle things that are outside of my purview, so to speak. So for me, I think it's more of delve into whatever you can delve into that will grow you as a person. I don't go out seeking specific business ventures that are within my understanding from the get-go. I put myself in a position where I say, okay, can I do this? If I can't, can I learn it? And I can learn whatever I want. So I feel like over time, you grow into the type of person that you need to be to deal with the type of issues that you need to deal with.
And I suppose, having spoken to quite a few entrepreneurs in the past, I'm going to ask you your views on this next thing, which I think is very important for entrepreneurs. But what failures have you gone through with your ventures?
Before I start with the failures, what I would say is that's very key for me in overcoming those failures is, in quoting Will Smith, fail early, fail often, and fail forward. What that basically means, as it applies to myself, failing early just basically means that just start. Don't wait. Don't wait to invest, then wait for either the profits or whatever tangible outcome you can get from it. And I think it's more applicable to the youth because you'll most likely have less mouths to feed, so you can afford to fail at an early stage in your life. And failing often just basically means that learning from your mistakes. When you fail, you dust yourself off and you go again and again and again. So you don't shy away from the challenges and the fears of actually failing. And then failing forward just for me basically means that you learn and you take something out of whatever venture that you went into. So in each endeavor that I've found myself in, I've always taken something that I've learned from it. It doesn't have to be money. The most important thing for me is the experience. The experience of my first venture taught me about work ethic. The second one highlighted the importance of network marketing. And then the third one for me showed me that it's important to have that track record of being out there and not being scared to fail.
Yeah.
Because people approach and say, I've seen what you've done, I want to work with you.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to the sanitizer thing, once you've built a track record of yourself, opportunities just come to you.
Yeah.
Because you are known for being successful or for being out there and trying new things.
Yeah.
And as you learn and as you grow, more opportunities come your way. So for me, losing money was a big thing.
Yeah.
I think my first loss was with the Move for Fitness thing, because we had to put money together to get certain things done. And it's actually money we borrowed. So that's where I had to learn the importance of managing your finances. And the more I went further in my endeavors, the more I learned about the importance of time management, and dealing with people. Because if you're in a team of 3 people, it's very different to when you're in a team of 20 or 10 people.
Yeah.
There are way more challenges, especially as people in our age group, because we have jobs and we have other responsibilities. So for me, I've lost money, but that has never discouraged me from pushing even further beyond, because I learned something from that. And it's always been sort of like a step up in the next business venture I went into, because I went into the business venture as a wiser person.
Yeah. No, very good, man. I suppose, so people think of entrepreneurship as a very lonely space, because I can imagine you spoke a bit about investing for one. If you're going to take a big portion of your money and put it into shares that you can't guarantee will grow, I can imagine if you've got people close to you who depend on that money, it won't always be an easy conversation. So
100%.
What's your experience with keeping those close to you happy with you taking risks with your finances?
Another good question. It's important. It highlights what I first said of, failing early.
Yeah.
That experience of failing early allows you to learn a lot, not just about yourself, but about people around you, how people react to your certain failures, who the most important people are for your growth going forward. Because it's like Vusi Tembawayo said, that just because someone is next to you doesn't mean that they're with you. So I believe that, like I said, the track record of being successful in whatever that I do allows people to have more confidence in me. It's not to say that I won't fail. It's not to say I won't lose money. But one thing I can guarantee is I will give my best and I will be successful. So for me, I think you have to manage the expectation of people and what you can do. So for me, the most important thing is making sure that you're within control of your own emotions and your own finances before other people are involved.
Yeah. No, true. I mean, you've referenced quite a few people which I myself follow. And I think it's always good when you speak to people that you hear that they've taken knowledge from different
100%.
people. That you're not just hot-headed in your own lane. It's good. Before I get to the last part of this interview, there's one more question I have, and it's around I guess South Africa and the state of South Africa from a poverty perspective. Some people would, obviously assume that entrepreneurship is the way to go in terms of alleviating all the problems we have. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, the entrepreneurial space for me isn't a go-to place just to avoid poverty, because for me it honestly starts from somewhere. When I think about what you're saying now, the first thing that comes to my mind is financial literacy. It's quite interesting because when I first did some research on this whole stock market thing and easy equities, and I started seeing that, wow, this thing is sort of like a gold mine. The first person I asked was my dad, because he's quite successful, considering where he comes from. And I asked him, you've been so successful in life, how come you've never actually considered the stock market? And what he told me was that it's just lack of knowledge. The only thing that he knew is that you either make money or you lose money, and that's it. So for me, it highlighted the lack of financial literacy, which is why I took it upon myself to also help my peers on WhatsApp or Facebook or wherever that people are connected with me. And I share the financial literacy so that they can know that there's many ways in which you can make money. So for me, it's not to say that in order for you not to be poor, you have to be an entrepreneur. No, for me, it's more of expanding your financial literacy to know what options are there for you to make more money whether it's active or passive.
Yeah.
But financial literacy is very key for me. So I think if we can have such platforms where we can teach people or make it aware that, you know, through financial literacy, you can actually go further than what you thought you could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, 100. What I will do is I'll probably, you know, leave some links to some of the things we've shared.
Yeah.
Whether it's a link to a person speaking, or whether it's a link to like registering for something like Easy Equities. Obviously, all of these things are, you know, you need to have the knowledge before you can fully take part in it. You need to do your own research and understand what's best for you, what's suited to you. But I guess the last thing for you is there anything else over and above what we've discussed now that you think you want to leave on people's minds?
Well, there isn't much, but I would say is, you know, don't underestimate your own capacity. Don't underestimate what you can achieve.
Yeah.
I say that because of what I've done. When I look at the Move for Fitness thing, there was a lot of red tape where people said, you're not qualified to do this thing, you're not certified. How long have you been doing this for? But the one part where my mentor came in and said, look, in order for you to avoid a lot of red tape, focus on things that you know that you're good at. For me to have done the Move for Fitness bootcamp was because he highlighted to me that, look, what do people know you for? People know me for dancing, people know me for fitness. So it was easy for me to control that element because that's what I'm good at.
Yeah.
So it was easy to also rope in people in my life who were influential in those areas to mitigate some of those red tapes.
Yeah.
The other thing I'd say is don't underestimate your capacity to learn. When I look at the sanitizer thing, it took me about 4 to 8 weeks to learn the whole process and actually be good at doing that whole thing, even though I'm not qualified by degree or certification. And when I look at the stock market thing, I spent about 5 weeks every day doing research and understanding and gaining the confidence to put the money that I put down. So throughout history, what has carried me through is definitely my capacity to always be willing to learn and push myself forward. So if there's one thing I can leave with people is don't underestimate your capacity to learn, grow, and do better in life.
Yeah, and there you have it, guys. I couldn't have said it any better myself. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch. Remember to subscribe, like the video, so that you are first in line to see the next videos that come up. Peace.